Hi, and welcome to WarHQ. My name is Lucius. So, last episode we looked at the easiest kill teams to get into from a monetary sense and a competitive sense. Today, what we're going to look at is the hardest kill teams to get into from a monetary and competitive sense. So, they're still competitive teams, but what we're saying here is, what do you actually need to get these teams? And these are actually some of the top tier teams as well that we're going to be talking about today. Like, there's quite a lot. There's three of them that are probably classed as the top tier, top of the tier. So let's see what we've got on this list. Some of these might surprise you. Like last time, what we're going to be doing is just using standard Games Workshop Australian prices. So if you're international, just look at your own prices on what you're doing there. But it's just a bit of fun. We're just going to go through and like you might be going, oh yeah, I really want to get into this team, and we're not trying to detract you from these teams because some of these are the best teams, but some of them are quite difficult to get into, and I'm going to explain why. So I'll actually start from the bottom of the list and then go up to the most expensive or the most confusing is probably the best way to say it. Is one of my favorite teams, which is Tau. Now, you think on the surface, Tau, it's just drones and all this stuff. Should be easy to get into, right? Incorrect. Unless you're going to buy secondhand, the amount of drones that you cannot cover with the amount of box sets you'd need to get. It'd be ridiculous. There's a couple of options to get sort of the best meta Tau team, and I'm going to go through them now. So you're going to need a Pathfinder box set, which is $53. That gives you your recon drone, that gives you your 3 rail rifles, gives you your comm specialist, all those things you need, and a couple of drones. You're going to need, Fire Warriors. That's an $85 box set. You want to get that turret. There's not much you're going to use from this set, unfortunately. There's probably only 2 models you're going to use from this set. A couple of drones, again, not much. Stealth suits are very handy. $42, you get 3. A couple of drones. By this stage, we've only got a handful of drones in our team. I think it only works out to be, not many, like, 5 or 6. Now, they do have a drone set. I don't know if you can look that one up for me, Kai. I saw the drone set. It's a new thing. I hadn't seen it for a while, but
they're tactical drones. From what I can see, they're $20.
Yeah, two drones.
Two drones.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so you could max out on those box sets, I guess. Like if you wanted to go the hard route, but it's really pushing this kill team well over $220 already, just to get a couple of those extras as well. So Tau's a team you're going to be lucky to get in. If you're going to buy it commercially like this under Games Workshop, you're going to be very lucky to get it in under $250, probably a bit more. There are other options, and this is what I had to do, is talk to your Warhammer 40,000 9th edition friend who has 1 million drones and has a few spares because he's got so many units that he's bought, and you purchase them that way. Or you look online and you try and get them secondhand, like some auction sites in UK and that they'll sell like 8 drones or something. That's really what you need to do to make this team cheaper. Because really the drone meta is still the toughest and strongest one with the 3 railguns. It's so hard to beat, guys. Like anyone who's fought against it knows, but these box sets I've mentioned really give you some options. You could drop the stealth suits if you wanted to, but I don't recommend that because I think they are quite a competitive option to have in there in your team too. You've played against Tower a bit, haven't you, Kaisel? So
yeah,
yeah.
they're definitely one that I feel shouldn't be as powerful as they are, but I always do have trouble with them.
Most people do.
On
Yeah.
paper, it's like these things are squishy. On the table, they end up turning that around, and those rail rifles are nasty. So
Rail rifles are nasty, and then just volume of fire with bad
yeah,
shooting from drone, with multiple targets per drone, and they only cost 7 points.
yeah,
Really tough, hey. And then you can get those rail rifles just hitting on 2+ all the time, hey. Like they're really good as a team. So if you're looking for the Tau option, and a lot of people do, like have a look at this channel myself. I've done heaps of Tau videos, and we'll link them. But have a look at those because they're our most popular videos. So obviously people like Tau. Things could change. Like we could get the new editions of things and points changes and stuff. They bring out an annual for this year or something, and they could just totally nerf drones, which I believe they should probably be 8 points drones, and that would actually take a couple of drones out of your swarm, and it still would be competitive. It wouldn't totally nerf them. And perhaps recon drones 10 points because they are one of the best models in the game for sure. Recon drones because they're only 7 points still. But that's just my thoughts. If you're looking at Tau, that's your main hurdle really is going to be being able to purchase all the models you need. So you're going to have to really, I'd be asking your friends, if you're in the scene, like get a Tau player and try and buy a few of the drones off. And that's how I started. Or look online for them, and then just get your base sets that you need, and you'll be smiling. You'll be heaps better off. Yeah, and that's Tau.
Cool.
So next one I'm sort of looking at here is, what do we got? Azurani. So the Eldar. This is a really weird one to price. Hey, like really weird. Like the current, full competitive list has all of the aspect warriors. It's got the Striking Scorpion Exarch. It's got, the Howling Banshee Exarch. It's got the Dire Avenger Exarch. Currently, what you've got to do is buy each of those box sets just to get the Exarch. It does give you a few other, it gives you some normal models of those too, but they're not the models being used in the competition teams. It's each of those three Exarchs, but that you still have to buy each of those three Exarchs. What I did, I already owned one of the Exarchs from back in the 90s and 80s. I went online and got auctions and managed to get Striking Scorpion Exarch and a Howling Banshee Exarch in original blisters. So from the 80s. So that's how I bought mine. But with the new sets, you're probably better off just buying a new set, because by the time you buy an antique model, which is collectible, you may as well just buy the new ones and you can get some extra stuff. So you're going to need those three sets alone. So the Aspect Warrior sets are $61 each, and the Dire Avenger set $55. Now, on top of this, you're going to need a box of Guardians, which is $61, which gives you a heavy weapon platform. You can have your leader Guardian, you can have some chaff. And another problem with this set is that you can't buy the Flamer fusion mixes of guns. Like you can't actually get them in a set. You have to buy the upgrade kit, which really, really sucks. These upgrade kits cost $30 each, and you only get one of each of those guns. So say you wanted to run a list where you had two Flamers and two other fusion guns, you would have to buy two of those upgrade sets, which would cost you $60 for 4 bits of plastic. And you just discard all the rest of the junk that's in there, which would be a complete waste of money. So you're looking at like $268 just to get set up with a base team, but it is the competitive mix of that team. And you'd have everything you'd need plus more. You'd have a lot of models. You can only start a small detachment in your 9th edition with that many models. So if you're looking at that way too, it's probably not a bad buy. But I went the option of going secondhand and buying antique stuff. So that's just me. I'm a bit retro like that. And that's how I got my Aldari team. But if you are thinking, and look, this is probably the best team. Like if you look at the competitions from the last couple of years, Azurani are right up there. They win at least 50% of the tournaments. So they are a top tier team, super team. So a lot of people might be looking at getting this, but the model range is old. They have made a few new things lately, with the Aspect Warriors, like the Howling Banshees and that are new, but it's still pretty old, hey? So it's hard to get. Any thoughts on that one?
It is definitely the the requirements for one model out of a lot of boxes that has held me back for a while. Recently, I've seen some people painting up some Eldari, and it's just like, I actually want to go and find. The retro bug has got me as well. I want those original models I had 20 odd years ago. So this is probably one of the next things I do get into. But
as you say, it's an expensive option if you're going to go GW models currently in range. It's very expensive. You can't buy these models individually because you want those Exarchs, those 3 Exarchs. You need all 3 of them really to have the most optimal team. So you're looking, just south of $300. So pretty expensive team to get into. But a great team, and a good retro team. Or you could just be like me and you could just start playing Epic. I just got 9,000 points of Eldar, so it's a better game anyway.
I have to say that the thing that is actually drawing me to these is the not having to paint as much. It's just like, they're just one color, a few highlights here.
Really easy to paint, man. Like if you're gonna, I like my Ironed, which is basically just yellow bodies and blue heads
Yeah.
with black guns. So you can contrast paint that if you want a quick force. But all your aspect warriors do have a particular look, but they're always just around 2 colors. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they're never really that complicated. Like striking scorpions just have a yellow head and they're green. Pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's about the only recommendations. Yeah. So stuff like the Dire Avengers are like white and blue. So they all seem to have a 2 color mix, like of all the
Yeah.
colors for each troop. So very easy army to paint, like you said.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. My next option on this one going up, so this would be like the second most expensive, is Demons, Chaos Demons, another team that I love and I've played competitively. Actually, all the teams in here are the most expensive that I all play in tournament. So yeah, so Chaos Demons is the next one. Why is Chaos Demons so expensive? Okay, if you want an optimal build, and by optimal build I mean you want some of the demons from everything, but the big
Mm.
demon that really sets you back is your Zench demons. So your pink horrors, and then your blue and your iridescent horrors. They are sold in 2 boxes. So just to get a few horrors on the board, you need to buy 2 box sets. Each of these box sets is $61, and that'll give you 10 pink, 10 blue, 10 iridescent. That's all you're ever going to need for Kill Team. It's way more than you're ever going to need for Kill Team, but you need to get that just to get those guys. But that's not a full Kill Team in itself. You're going to need Demonettes, you're going to need Bloodletters, and it's nice to have Plague Bearers as well because they make good leaders, they make good objective holders. So in essence, then you've got 3 box sets at $54 for your other Chaos Demons. So this is bringing us to a total of $284. So just south of 300 again
Mm-hmm.
for a Chaos Demon competitive build. Chaos Demons, like it's one of those teams, everything's quite squishy, but everything has invulnerability saves.
Yeah.
Um, you have counters to a lot of things, man. Like, you've got your Demonettes, which can strike first, sort of like that, they can always get that charge when they're in close
Mm.
combat, which is fantastic. So they're great at killing hordes and getting in first and getting strikes on. You've
Yeah.
got Bloodletters, which have very high AP. You can get your Bloodletters up to 3 damage. This is a 7-point model doing 3 damage with its sword, which is insane. Because if they roll a 6 for wounds, +1 damage, and you can spend 1 command point to get an extra 1 damage as well. So I did this in a tournament, with these guys, and I killed a warrior straight out, 3 wounds, bang. So this could be a good counter to the new heavy intercessors, the new 3 wound marines, because these guys, they have the AP to kill marines, and they can do 3 damage. So can kill a heavy intercessor with 1 hit, which is pretty insane when you think about it for a
Mm.
7-point model. So it could be a good counter, and I don't think heavy intercessors is going to be that great in close combat either. They don't seem to be built that way. They seem to be more around shooting. So when
Yeah.
you've got them in combat, you've still got those invulnerability saves to keep your ass alive. And when you're getting there too, but you probably will lose a lot going towards them and taking fights, fire and shots. You've got to really know how to use these guys. You've got to use cover really well. You've got to, pink
Yeah.
horrors are great. Like pink horrors, you can throw on objectives and you can just never kill them. Like you'll go 4 turns and kill Tim, and you still wouldn't have killed all of them. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
I'll,
as you kill the pink horror, it goes into 2 blues. You kill the blue, it goes into 2 iridescence, and it just goes on, man.
yeah.
And they have psychic as well, so you're getting that free psychic attack. And if you take the banner as well, you're getting that free, a potential of another free cyber as well. So it makes your team quite well rounded when you take everything. And then as a
Mm.
leader, plague bearers, and then a couple as objective holders too,
Yeah.
because they're
I
hard to budge.
was I was going to mention the psychic before, but a big thing that I do actually like about this, and it's something that goes with a lot of my play style, is I'm very combat orientated. I fail a lot at like long range. So,
Yeah,
and the way that I'm seeing the newer stats coming from Pariah Nexus and that, it's just like I have a feeling that everyone's sort of going, "Oh, this is good," but as you said, the intercessors may not actually be that great in close combat. So
true,
if you can
true.
swarm them in close combat, you basically lock them down. Who cares what gun they have? They can't do anything right now. So
Yeah.
a Chaos Demon kill team, I see as a very, very viable thing at the moment, unless rules change in the next few weeks.
Yep. That's right. They're very affordable troops and lots of them and lots of good variations too. Like you've got a lot of stuff. The only thing you don't really have is range,
Yeah.
pretty much. But you've got the Cybolt, and your pink horrors can actually shoot flames as well, which are quite good. You can boost them with CP to be quite good.
Hmm.
So, but you just got to know what you're doing with them. But once you can use them and get a good combination of them, oh my god, you can really decimate people. I mean, I did get equal first with that competition with Chaos Demons. They are good, like if you use them correctly, but they can fall apart very easily. If you just keep failing in vulnerability saves, you start losing them left, right, and center. it gets a bit nasty because you do have to get them into close combat, and that can be challenging at times. But you've got that swarm aspect of them. So yeah, Chaos Demons, really competitive kill team, expensive. If you want to use get the best list you can, you're looking at just under $300.
What were you versing in that one match where it was the bubble match?
The final,
Yeah,
that was Tyranids.
yes.
And it was even. It was 1-for-1. I was taking out Gaunts, who was taking out a dude. He'd take out a big guy. You'd take out one of my pink guys. It was just going back and forth. Like it was
I'll see if I can find the photo, but there's easily like 20 models in about like a
rugby scrum.
five like 3 to 4 inch radius, just like models in this cluster. Yeah, that was something.
That was a crazy battle, that one. Yeah. So this leads me to. I'm going to call this army. I can't even find a price for this army because what it comes down to with this next one I'm going to mention is they just don't produce the box sets you need to get the best list. A lot of people are probably not going to be surprised by this one either. But this is Astra Militarum, so Imperial Guard, right? If you're old school. So Astra Militarum, if you're going to go like the 8 plasma build, which is still really one of the best lists, it's very hard. Like it's so hard to just buy the models that you need for it, like from what's there in sets. But you're going to need scions. You can have up to 4 plasma scions, and you only get 1 in the box. These cost $50, box of 5. So are you going to buy 4 boxes of scions just to get 4 plasmas for scions? That's going to be a tough call. That's $200 just of scions that you're probably only going to use those 4. So then you've got Cadians. You're going to want some chaff. They don't even have a plasma gun, I don't think, in the box set. They've got grenade launchers and flamers and stuff like that. I think there's a plasma pistol, so you could have a leader with a plasma pistol, but I don't think they have the plasma gun in it. Then you could go the command group. That's another way to do it, but that has 1 plasma gun in it. And then your only other option is they do have a heavies box set. I saw that they released. They must have done it for these kind of reasons. And I think you get plasma gun and a melter gun in that box set. There's 2 models in that box set, and it's $23 each. So there's another option. What are you going to do there? Are you going to buy 4 boxes of those to get some more plasma guns, and then you're going to just chuck the rest of the shit away? So you're looking at a team which could be well over 300. That's why this one is my most difficult one. And currently people are using the Blackstone Fortress models in here as well, because they all ally with Astra Militarum. So Godfred de Montfort is a popular choice for Imperial Guard at the moment because he's a good close combat option. He's really tanky. He does good damage in close combat. So you're probably going to want to take him too. So there's another, God knows what. I had to buy mine secondhand. So like $50. I don't know. Like it's hard to buy unless you're going to buy the Blackstone Fortress set. So this one is a question mark. I actually don't know how much this team costs. Things to keep in mind. Hey, like again, you might want to talk to like a regular 40k player and see if they play Astra Militarum, they're going to have heaps of models. You know what I mean? So maybe they don't use plasma as much. Maybe they have a different build, and maybe you can scab their plasma guns and stuff. So I think you're going to have to get creative if you're going to play Astra Militarum. And I think that's why you don't see a lot of Astra Militarum teams, is because it's such a high entry point to get into it. Unless you were playing 40k already and you had 6 or 7 Cadian squads and you had like all your plasma, you could just like pick and mix out of that. Would be the easiest way to do it. But yeah, tough one. Look, it depends on your budget, really. I'm not going to tell people what to do, but I'm just saying it's an expensive one to get into, unless you've got that that friend with the army 40k, or you can buy them secondhand. But then what I've found too is trying to buy plasma guns secondhand through. They're really popular. Like they just sell straight away because everyone's looking for them. So remember with these lists, can you think of any others before I end this one? Like, can you think of any other really expensive kill teams offhand that I've kind of missed? These are just ones that really stuck out to me, like as being hard entry point to the game. I would an honorable mention here might be Drukhari. I'm a Drukhari player as well. If you want to go like the mixed build, and I call it a soup build, which is what I use competitively, where you have your mandrakes, which is sort of like the glue in the middle, and then you can branch out and have either witches, Cabalites, or racks, and you sort of just base it around there. There's a lot of box sets to get there, and if you want Incubot, you want to take the Clavex a lot of times too, because he's really good. So there's another box set you buy for 1 model. and then like there's a couple like that, which so Drukari could be one that's like $250 to get into as well. It's quite an expensive one. I had to source secondhand stuff for that as well. So it's probably up in this list as well, I'd say, as an honorable mention. But yeah, and I think it all comes down to Kill Team's only a couple of years old. Well, it's this iteration of it is anyway. It's one of those things, like Games Workshop didn't design these things for Kill Team. These box sets, they were designed for 40K and for getting units and squads. So there's just some that don't line up price wise, and it's just good. The whole idea is just to bring that to your attention, and and just so you can see that you're going to need more if you're going to go that route. You want an Aldera team. You want something. You're going to have to sort of bite the bullet a little bit with these ones, and yeah, pretty much it. But thanks everyone for tuning in on that one. We've been WarHQ. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, mean a lot to us. Takes you a second to do. Means heaps to us. We really appreciate it. And those that have all done so already, like, comment, all those things. But for now, I'm Lucius Keisel, and we're WarHQ. Thanks.
Later.